you're struggling where to start when it comes to this whole agile AI business, you're not alone. AI is making leaps and bounds like it seems every day, compounding interest. And it's going so fast that it can be pretty overwhelming for people to try to keep up with the pace of it. And especially if you're a Scrum Master or product owner or release train engineer, anybody that's involved in the delivery of software and digital services, you've likely felt the impact or heard the discussion and buzz around AI replacing all tech jobs. And if they're threatening software development jobs, you can only imagine in the agile space where traditional agile roles have been revolved around facilitating at a team level or at a multi-team level, release train, value stream level. There's a lot of that stuff that can be automated. And I know because I was impacted by agile layoffs in 2023. And I probably saw the writing on the wall for some years because when I started as a Scrum Master, probably I think it was around the mid 2015, 2016, kind of in that range. When I started to really dive into leading teams as a Scrum Master and a product owner, I was seeing a lot of the red tape was just keeping teams back. And a lot of it had to do with rigid ceremonies, around a lot of the red tape that just did not deliver value. And it wasn't until I started to look at how our Jira instances where for all of our team, all the boards, all the teams that were having dependencies, and how to surface that data, right? Because what teams were doing is their leadership was asking them for reports that they would have to get out of a manual PowerPoint presentations and Excel sheets with dumped data that was maybe a month old out of Jira and other systems where teams were tracking their work, and it did not tell the whole story. It wasn't accurate either. So to really rely on those in an executive meeting or some sort of leadership director plus meeting, you're reporting on data that's like already outdated. And so a lot of churn happened to just getting the data to the right stakeholders. Now with Jira, diving into Jira and learning how to build these reports was a differentiator for me. And it was because I was able to become more of a power Scrum Master or power product owner, where I didn't have to rely on a Jira team to set a board up for me or anything like that. Like I knew how to do it. I knew how to query Jira as a tool, as basically like a database, right? Because it's what it is. It's not like a SQL database, but it has its own filtering query language called JQL. Jira query language. I became a master at that and being able to leverage that. And what that did for me was basically anytime a leader would come to me with a reporting request or some challenge, I could solve it by getting the data, by querying Jira and getting the data, building the dashboards that look great because they're real time and no one has to go in and manually update them. All the teams needed to do is make sure that they were entering their work and commenting on their work and updating the statuses on the work, which they have to do anyway, right? As a Scrum Master, leaning into the team saying, here's why we're doing this. That was really important in educating and coaching the teams to be able to say, okay, well, I have to update Jira. Because most of the time people say, oh, I have to update Jira for what? It's just a task I have to do. It doesn't like move the needle, but in a larger organization, it does. Maybe not in a small startup, right? Because you're not messing with a lot of these ceremonies and a lot of these things because you're shipping one product and you're doing it at breakneck speed. But in a large organization where you have a lot of products, a lot of teams, a lot of waterfall-y type things still going on, even if you're embracing agile, you need to have reporting that goes up to the various leadership chains, telling the teams and educating them why we're doing this. We're doing this because the business needs visibility. And it's better that we do this in the system and we keep our work up to date so that nobody has to come back to your desk 10 times a day asking you what the status is on something because they can see it right in the system of record. And so that's the mindset shift, right, that I had to have before 2023. 2023 came along. I happened to be in the job category of a Scrum Master. And at my organization, they called them Agile delivery leads, but basically the same facilitating skills, stand-ups, reports, all those sorts of things. I lost my job. What really enabled me to bounce back pretty quickly was the fact that I had those Jira skills, and that was something that I could surface on my resume. Because believe it or not, even though we are in an age right now where a lot of jobs are being automated, there's still a demand for people to make sense of their delivery, team data, the work that teams are working on, the project, whether you're building a website or whether you're delivering digital services online. People still are in need of making their organization more efficient and being able to deliver value more quickly. Now, as a Scrum Master, removing roadblocks and impediments are just that. But you don't want to be the roadblock. You don't want to be the impediment, because as soon as you become that, then it's obvious where your fate is when it comes to sitting in a traditional role. If I were to go back, I would probably have done this sooner, but I probably would have become a little bit more analytical. And that's the key thing. Message that I have for you, if you're watching this, whether you're a beginner trying to enter into this agile technology industry, or if you're someone who's already been in an agile role for some time, intermediate, advanced, really doesn't matter. We're all kind of in the same boat when it comes to the AI landscape of building products and running companies. If you don't know, there's only two things to take away. And that's one, if you're not technical, you need to get technical. Now, it doesn't mean you have to learn how to be a software developer and do all the coding and things like that. AI does a lot of that legwork already. What it means is that you have to understand what GitHub is, understand what the software delivery terminology and pipeline and process is. And that's only going to help you, because when you start interacting with AI, it'll just become a lot more fluid, a lot more easy to work with it. If you're very technical, maybe you're a software lead, developer, you don't have a lot of great soft skills like talking, communication, and project management. That's something you probably want to work on, because in this day and age, we are moving very fast towards full stack. And I don't mean full stack as being like you're a coder and had databases and middleware and front end design. I don't mean that. All of that and then some. So full stack in the age of AI is, I understand what project management means. I know the agile framework and what benefit and value that brings to the table, because it still does. It's not dead. It's not bound on a particular tool. It is a methodology, and there are frameworks, and there are a lot of like other ways people like to describe what agile is, but it's not going away. How we deliver software is, if you understand that component of it and you have the technical component, you are employable in the foreseeable future. If you lack in any of those areas, it's going to be challenging for you. That's really the message I have for anyone looking to survive and thrive in technology over the next few years. And we have to reassess as fast as the technology is being unleashed into the world on what that means for us as teams, and what that means for us as we look at our future and see what we can do in order to have a career and to put food on the table. Right now, as I build to help others to train them on upskilling in this age of AI, but still harnessing the same core principles of being agile, the tools have been a game changer for me, and being able to build a website very quickly and to put together assets, content, videos, text, audio, all of it. It's been a real big game changer. Whether you're trying to upskill for a new role, like because you're looking for a new role, you're in the job market, or you're just worried about where your role is today in your current position, this is going to be beneficial for you. And I'm really excited, because all the things that I've learned and all the things that I keep learning, I want to share, because they have helped me in many ways. They've helped me, but they've also helped those close to me. And I'm really I'm interested to see how we as humans can survive and thrive in this AI era, and not just to become workers in agile and software development, but to also like think of other ideas, right? I think of other ideas that make up you as a person, right? Like AI is artificial, we know that. And no matter what, it's always going to be that, even if it seems real. But we're human, and there are a lot of aspects to us that we need to embrace and have the time to do that, the time and freedom to do that. Thinking entrepreneurial and how you can turn these things into assets for yourself is really important. And what I mean by that is, maybe you're interested in cooking and you just love to cook. Maybe you like baking, right? Maybe you are interested in knitting, or you just happen to love to play the ukulele, right? Like it doesn't really matter. Like there are so many interests that we have that make up more than just our career. Having the autonomy and the ability to free up your time to enjoy exploring some of those things, I think that's going to be a real big shift in where AI capabilities can take us. Now, it doesn't mean that we rest on our laurels and we kind of sit back and we don't do anything, because the challenge is that if we don't start now, it's going to be much more harder to play the catch-up game. The best time to start was yesterday, right? And the next best time to start is today. I'm really excited. I'm looking for the future, and I hope you are as well. If there's a topic that you are interested in learning more about, go ahead and leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in many more videos to come.